going on, my fellow followers of the nerds of YouTube? It is already halfway through the month of May, or as us anime fans call it, the month of anime. And this is going to be my second video celebrating this whole month dedicated to the special craft that is anime. The very first video I did, I talked about the top 5 animes that any nerd inside anyone that wants to get out, that nerd has to watch these top 5 animes to really maybe get into the whole genre of anime. And I talked about different kinds that anyone can get into, like action, adventure, RPG, animes like that. Any anime I think any nerd would enjoy. So for this video, I wanted to talk about the top 5 villains of these animes that I think have been the best. They have the best story arc. They go through a giant life-changing story that helps progress the story through other characters through cool ways. These characters that I'm talking about have been my favorite villains through the entire story. So, without further ado, let's start with number 5. Coming in at number 5, we have Meruem from Hunter x Hunter. Meruem, he was definitely one of the most interesting villains from any anime I've seen. He comes in the Chimera Ant arc, which is like the second to the last season in the whole Hunter x Hunter story. He is probably one of the coolest characters that is in the entire arc. Not only is he a really misunderstood villain in my opinion, but he just has a really interesting story to him. The reason I say he's misunderstood is that he's not like your typical evil guy who wants to take over this world just because he can, but he almost wants to prove that he's greater than anybody else in the world of Hunter x Hunter. I mean, there's this scene where he takes over the palace and he's having all these champions in these different games. He's having them come to play that game against him to see how good they are and if he can beat them. And once he beats them, occasionally he will just kill them. But if he can come up with a good enough excuse, he lets them live and have a rematch. Like, there's this one man, I think it's like they're playing chess, and Meruem beats him in like 3 moves, and the man's like, no, you see, I'm really tired, and I have a fever, so please let me play again. And instead of just killing him, Meruem's like, alright. I'll let you sleep for 48 hours, and I'll give you the best medicine I can find. After that, we play again. So, just the whole fact that Meruem had kind of a compassion feeling for this guy, knowing that he wasn't playing at his best, the excuse that he gave, it just showed that Meruem, he has a human side to him that can be forgiving. So, even though he was the main villain, composed as the main villain of this arc, I thought he was a pretty cool dude. We also get fun bits of him, how Meruem acts with Komugi when they play Gungi together. I love that, how it's just pissing off his royal guards that he's just spending all his time with this girl, playing this board game. He's not focus on the march of the ants at all, increasing the army. I think it's pretty funny. Also, their death is just sad, man. Like, we get this awesome fight with Meruem versus Netero, and how Netero uses his nen to create this giant statue to fight Meruem, and this great battle goes on. I'm not gonna spoil what happens in the end, but the death with Meruem and Komugi is just sad, man. They decided to just play one game together, and when the time comes, they just die with each other. It's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet, I kind of think it is. But Meruem's whole story through the Chimera Ant arc, it's pretty great. In my opinion, he's kind of like an anti-hero, but he's set up as the major hero of the whole Chimera Ant story. It's pretty great. If you love Hunter x Hunter, I would definitely look into the Chimera Ants arc. Even though it's like 70 episodes, it's the longest arc in the whole show. But each episode is worth watching because the whole show itself is enjoyable. For coming in at number 4, we have Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. And honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of Dragon Ball anymore. I mean, it's gotten so repetitive. It's just every time, whenever something big happens, like Goku and Vegeta, they end up getting this one enemy. They bring him back to the world of the living. They send him back to the world of the dead. They bring him back to the world of the living once the thing has been completed. They send him back to the world of the dead. It's just a rinse and repeat. So with that anime, I got pretty bored with it. So I gave up watching it. Anyway, the anime, or the villain Vegeta, I'm going to be talking about from like seasons 1 through 3 of Dragon Ball Z. Because like after 3, he has this whole like redemption thing that happens to him where he's based more as a hero than a villain. So I'm just talking 1 through 3 of seasons of Dragon Ball Z. Anyway, what I love about Vegeta is just the fear that he brings into people. Like in season 1, or maybe it's season 2 of Dragon Ball Z, when him and Nappa arrive on Earth, and Nappa is just destroying everyone. Like he's destroying Piccolo, he's destroying Goku and Gohan and Krillin, and like Nappa, he's just like, he's scared of Vegeta. Vegeta's like sitting around in the background just watching what Nappa's doing. And when Nappa goes against his orders, he's like, Nappa, what were you thinking? You better follow my orders or you'll face severe consequences. And Nappa's just this giant, bulked up, Schwarzenegger looking guy. And he's like, right boss, sorry. It's great how much, even though Vegeta's like a 5'2" character, to see how much fear he can bring into his fellow Saiyans, it's crazy. Not to mention, he's the prince of all Saiyans. I love how, at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, how merciless Vegeta was. I mean, once Goku finally arrives back to Earth, and he fights Nappa, breaks his spine with that Kaioken or whatever, and Vegeta's like, oh, he's worthless now. And he kills Nappa, and finally it's Goku versus Vegeta. Not only is that an epic fight, it's super cool to see how strong these two can go head to head, but it's just awesome. With their fight though, I do consider it a cheat how Vegeta, he uses the moon or the sun or whatever. It's been a while since I've seen anything Dragon Ball, so I'm not quite sure on the details, but he still has his tail, so he turns into that giant ape. I consider that a cheat, considering that Goku doesn't have a tail anymore. But it's awesome, even at that point, how Goku can still hold his own in the fight against Ape Vegeta. It's pretty cool. Like I said about Vegeta being merciless in the early part of Z, I wish they kept that. Another example is with the Ginyu Force. After like they've all recovered from their major fight, they go to planet Namek to find the other Dragon Balls. And we got Frieza finally, who's like the villain that's always killed and brought back. But this is like his first introduction to it. And Frieza's enlisted the help of the Ginyu Force. And what's really cool is that we have Vegeta going through the planet, And he has one of the coolest scenes ever, escaping the Guinea Force on the ship. The way that he escapes is the best moment Dragon Ball will ever have. But it's awesome to see him take out each member of the Guinea Force. Like, there's one where he freaking decapitates one of them, basically. And there's others, just the way that he kills off each one of them is pretty cool. And seeing their fight, he takes on Frieza at one point. That's kind of crazy to see how much stronger Frieza is at him. How much stronger Frieza is than Vegeta at this point in the story. It's pretty crazy to see. But just how evil Vegeta still is in this story is just fun to watch. And I will have to say, this is after Season 3, it's during Season 4, when, in my opinion, Dragon Ball Z started going downhill. But it was cool in this season that we finally saw Vegeta going Super Saiyan for the first time, because he's been training his ass off, and now he finally has the power he's always been wanting. To see him go Super Saiyan, that golden color for the first time, that was epic. So, definitely Vegeta, one of the best characters that has ever come from Dragon Ball. He will always be my favorite character. That's why he takes number 4. Number 3, we have the villain from my favorite series, My Hero Academia, which is Tomura Shigaraki. Shigaraki, he definitely deserves to be on this list. He's one of the most epic villains from an anime story that I've seen. Just his aura that gives off when he's first introduced is completely terrifying. He's like this scrawny little kid, but he's like covered in hands, and just he has a terrifying look to him, man. He gives me the willies every time I see him. Shigaraki's main goal is to basically become the new symbol of evil, and the way that it's introduced him, he is very creepy, because he's like, now, how will people react once the villains kill the symbol of hope, All Might? And he brings this whole army of villains into the UA school where these kids are training to be heroes. It becomes a whole thing where it's like fight or flight thing, except they can't escape. So these new heroes are fighting off these experienced villains. It is super cool. It's really cool to see as the story goes on how much stronger Shigaraki gets. I mean, there's one point where it shows him going through all these different experiments, like he's on the table being shot. But this is all due to him wanting to be stronger. Anyway, it does pay off, because there's one point where he's in this town and like all these people are running after him trying to kill him, and he literally grabs one person and he disintegrates like 20 other people. It is insane. And like there's this one part where he takes on this one leader of this whole like villain clan thing, and just to see how strong he's gone is insane. Like he disintegrates half the city in the battle, and as we get near the end of the story, we do get Deku versus Shigaraki, and the battle with that is crazy. Just to see how Shigaraki in this story has gone from this weakling who's just been like behind the scenes to this major character, and that he's just angry at the world. It's insane. He is one of the coolest villains of My Hero Academia. He is super cool. So for that, he gets number 3. Number 2 would be the Demon Upper Rank 3, Akaza from Demon Slayer. Akaza is probably one of the creepiest, coolest, most badass villain of Demon Slayer, just because he's loyal to the main leader of the demons, Muzan Kibutsuji, but he hates the fact that he's number 3 in the ranks. Like, there's one part in one of the seasons where the demons are having a meeting, and he literally smashes the face of the upper rank 2 demon. Just, it's crazy to see how much stronger Akaza gets through the series. Like, we're first introduced to Akaza all the way back to the Infinity Train movie, where Akaza takes on Rengoku, and even though the fight between Akaza and Rengoku is epic, like, we see how fast Akaza can regenerate, we see how skilled Rengoku is in their fighting, how they're super fast in their fighting skills. Even though when they have all of that, Akaza still almost lost because Rengoku almost cut off Akaza's head. So we get to see how strong these characters are, and it's really scary how crazy Akaza is still really strong in that fight, and he's getting stronger even though we don't even see him. He's off screen, he's still getting stronger. It's crazy. So even though Akaza himself doesn't have much screen time so far in this story, I read the entire manga of Demon Slayer. I have the whole collection. Even though we've seen him a couple of times, his big debut was in the movie Infinity Train. And he has some other small parts to play after Infinity Train. We don't really see him again until Infinity Castle, but that is epic. If you want me to talk about what happens with Akaza in the Infinity Castle, leave a comment below. I'll make a whole video of it. I might make a video anyway, because honestly the whole ending of Demon Slayer kind of pissed me off. But it has a lot more Akaza near the end of the story than it does near the beginning. But Akaza still is my favorite character from Demon Slayer. Just how strong he is, how, like, even though you're watching him on screen, you know he has a murderous intent no matter what. He just needs to prove his strength, he needs to move up in the ranks, he needs to prove that he's the strongest person, he can be even stronger than Lord Muzan. He's just a badass character that I love. For that, he takes number 2. And taking in number 1 is the villain from the anime that got me into the whole anime series genre, is Marik Ishtar from YuGiOh. So Marik Ishtar, even though a lot of people are saying like he was an evil guy until like halfway through Battle City when like his true darkness comes out, he was an evil guy. I mean, even before his true darkness comes out, he was like stealing the god cards, he was brainwashing people to do his bidding, and he even brainwashed Joey and Taya. He had that duel with Joey, he had the brainwash Joey duel Yugi over the ocean. Whoever lost the duel was dragged to the bottom of the sea. That was crazy. And that was all when Marik was his just normal self. So, yeah, I'd say he was still a villain before he was unleashed. His alter darkness was unleashed. Marik Ishtar had a crazy life, guys. Like, I really don't blame him for being a villain. I mean, ever since childhood, he was raised underground to be a tomb keeper, to wait until like the pharaoh returned. When he was like 9 years old, he had this tattoo carved onto his back that had the pharaoh's secret. It's just the things that he went through as a child. I don't blame him for going evil, because those things would scar me for life, just like they scarred Marik, because they are epically crazy. Anyway, the stuff that Marik does throughout the show when he is just his normal self is crazy, but when his bad shit alter ego takes over, that's when the true shit happens. I mean, the very first duel he has is crazy. When he duels My Valentine, and they have that duel where whenever one of their monsters is destroyed, a part of their memory is destroyed as well. I thought that was crazy, but what he says is insane when part of his memory is destroyed and Marik says that he has no one that he wants to remember. He prefers to be alone. I'm like, dude, that's pretty dark. Then there is Marik versus Bakura, which is like my favorite duel through the whole Battle City. Even though Marik versus Yugi is epic, I really love the Bakura versus Marik duel. But it's crazy to see Marik send Bakura into the Shadow Realm. It's an epic duel to see him use instant attack with the Winged Dragon of Ra, to see him fuse with the Winged Dragon of Ra for the first time. That was creepy, yet it was really cool. And then we get the duel with Marik versus Joey, where Joey does put up an amazing fight, and Marik ends up using the Winged Dragon of Ra to basically kill Joey, because he uses the Shadow Games to create these live streams that connect the duelists to the monsters, so the duelists feel the pain. Whatever the monsters go through, they feel the pain of those monsters. It's a really intense duel, and to end it, Marik basically says, "If I cannot defeat Joey through the regular rules, I will kill him!" And he basically burns Joey to death. That was one of the most intense moments of Battle City. And even in the sub, that episode is called Jonochi Dies, which honestly broke my heart. The duel with Marik and Yugi has always been one of the best duels. It's gonna be forever one of the best duels that will forever go in Yu-Gi-Oh! I feel like I just said that. Anyway, it's a really cool duel with Yugi being able to summon Obelisk the Tormentor at this one point in the duel thanks to the card that Kaiba gave him, Fiend Sanctuary. He's able to summon Obelisk and attack Marik directly. And I don't care if they are hologramic monsters. The fact that this attack was animated so realistic and Marik's reaction to being attacked by Obelisk, that looked like it hurt. The ending to the duel is great between Marik and Yugi. Yugi uses his Ragnarok card, where all the monsters he sends to his graveyard, they come out, Obelisk and Slifer, they end up taking the Winged Dragon away, which ultimately destroys Marik, leaving his good half behind. And just, it's crazy to see all these monsters from Yugi's deck to come surround the other players, to see Marik's reaction, everyone's reactions to this, except Kaiba. Kaiba has the reaction like, whatever. But it's a really cool scene, how Yugi wins the duel. Anyway, Marik takes number 1 on my list because his good side was evil, his evil side was really psychotic, having all these shadow duels, basically killing Joey, just wanting to take over the world. He definitely takes number 1 in my opinion. Not only does he have a crazy cool look to him, he is very creepy. Even watching him, you get creepy vibes. So, that's why he's number 1. Alright, those are my top 5 favorite villains from anime from now to forever. Anyway, if you thought that, please give this video a thumbs up. This is all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll leave a link to my other video about anime, that my top 5 anime to introduce anybody into anime to. I'm saying anime a lot. Anyway, I'll leave the link to that video down below. Please, if you like this video, subscribe. If you like the other anime video, subscribe as well. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for watching this video. I love making these videos on anime and video games, and I hope you guys enjoy watching them. Anyway, that's all I got for you. I'll see you later.